What Jesus had prophesied about Jerusalem came true. Luke chapter 19, verses 41 to 44. As Jesus approached Jerusalem and saw the city, he wept over it and said, "If you, even you, had only known on this day what would bring you peace, but now it is hidden from your eyes. The days will come upon you when your enemies will build an embankment against you and encircle you and hem you in on every side. They will dash you to the ground, you and the children within your walls. They will not leave one stone on another, because you did not recognize the time of God's coming to you." And all this came to pass. The Bible contains numerous prophecies related to Israel, particularly in the Old Testament, Hebrew Bible. These prophecies cover a wide range of topics, including the history, restoration, and future of Israel. It's important to note that interpretations of these prophecies may vary among different religious groups and scholars. Here are some key biblical prophecies about Israel. The promised land to Abraham in Genesis 12:1-3 is a central concept in Judaism and has deep theological and historical significance. It forms the basis for the Jewish people's connection to the land of Israel and is often linked to their identity, history, and religious traditions. The promise to Abraham is seen as an everlasting covenant, and it has been passed down through the generations, shaping the religious and cultural heritage of the Jewish people for millennia. This promise and the covenant with Abraham are revisited and expanded upon in later parts of the Hebrew Bible, such as the book of Exodus and the book of Joshua, as the Israelites journey towards the fulfillment of this promise. Genesis 12:1-3, NAV. Now the Lord had said to Abram, "Get out of your country, from your family and from your father's house, to a land that I will show you. I will make you a great nation. I will bless you and make your name great, and you shall be a blessing. I will bless those who bless you, and I will curse him who curses you. And in you all the families of the earth shall be blessed." In this passage, God is addressing Abram, who later becomes known as Abraham. He is called by God to leave his homeland, his family, and his father's house, and embark on a journey to a land that God will reveal to him. Abram obeyed God's call and left Ur with his wife Sarai, who later became Sarah. He also took with him his nephew Lot and all their possessions. They traveled to the land of Canaan and eventually settled in the region of Hebron. Along the way, Abram faced many challenges and tests of faith, but he remained steadfast in his trust in God. God promised the land of Canaan to Abraham and his descendants and is foundational to the idea of the promised land for the Jewish people. The prophecy of the return from exile as described in Jeremiah 29:10 is a pivotal event in the history of the Jewish people, symbolizing divine providence, restoration, and hope. Here's a more detailed expansion on this prophecy and its historical context. Jeremiah 29:10. This is what the Lord says, "When 70 years are completed for Babylon, I will come to you and fulfill my good promise to bring you back to this place." Context of Babylonian exile. In the 6th century BCE, the Babylonians, led by King Nebuchadnezzar, conquered the kingdom of Judah, including its capital, Jerusalem. They exiled a significant portion of the Jewish population to Babylon, marking the beginning of what is known as the Babylonian exile, or the Babylonian captivity. The exile was a traumatic event in Jewish history, as the people were uprooted from their homeland and taken into captivity. Jeremiah the prophet. Jeremiah was a prominent prophet in the period leading up to the Babylonian exile. He warned the people of Judah about the consequences of their unfaithfulness to God and the impending Babylonian invasion. His prophecies included both messages of judgment and messages of hope. The prophecy of return. In Jeremiah 29:10, the prophet delivers a message of hope and restoration. God promises that after a period of 70 years in Babylon, he will fulfill his promise to bring the exiled Jewish people back to their homeland, the land of Judah. This promise provided hope and reassurance to the exiles during a time of great uncertainty and suffering. Fulfillment under Cyrus the Great. The fulfillment of this prophecy came to pass in 538 BCE, when Cyrus the Great, the Persian ruler who had conquered the Babylonian Empire, issued the famous Edict of Cyrus, Cyrus Cylinder. This edict allowed the Jewish exiles to return to their homeland and rebuild their temple in Jerusalem. This return and the subsequent reconstruction of the Second Temple were significant events in Jewish history, spiritual and theological significance. The return from Babylonian exile is not only a historical event, but also holds profound spiritual and theological significance. It demonstrates God's faithfulness to His promises and His ability to restore His people even after periods of suffering and exile. It reinforces the idea of divine providence and underscores the importance of faith and obedience. The Babylonian exile and the subsequent return to the land of Judah had a lasting impact on Jewish identity, faith, and religious practices. The prophecy of the restoration of Israel, as found in Ezekiel 36:24-28, is a significant and deeply meaningful passage in the Hebrew Bible, Old Testament. It has been interpreted in various ways, with some seeing its fulfillment in the establishment of the modern state of Israel in 1948. Here's a more detailed expansion of this prophecy. Ezekiel 36:24-28 says, "For I will take you out of the nations. I will gather you from all the countries and bring you back into your own land. I will sprinkle clean water on you, and you will be clean. I will cleanse you from all your impurities and from all your idols. I will give you a new heart and put a new spirit in you. I will remove from you your heart of stone and give you a heart of flesh, and I will put my spirit in you and move you to follow my decrees and be careful to keep my laws. Then you will live in the land I gave your ancestors. You will be my people, and I will be your God." The rebuilding of the Jewish temple in Jerusalem is a significant theme in the Hebrew Bible, and it holds deep historical and religious importance for the Jewish people. While the Second Temple was constructed after the return from Babylonian exile, the idea of a third temple is a subject of interpretation and discussion among various religious groups. The prophecies regarding the gathering of the Jewish exiles from all over the world and their return to Israel hold profound significance in Jewish tradition and in the broader context of religious and historical identity. Two key passages in the Hebrew Bible, Isaiah 11 verses 11-12 and Ezekiel 37 verses 21-22, are often cited to express this theme. Here is an expansion on these prophecies. Isaiah chapter 11 verses 11-12 says, "In that day the Lord will reach out His hand a second time to reclaim the surviving remnant of His people from Assyria, from Lower Egypt, from Upper Egypt, from Cush, from Elam, from Babylonia, from Hamath, and from the islands of the Mediterranean. He will raise a banner for the nations and gather the exiles of Israel. He will assemble the scattered people of Judah from the four quarters of the earth." Ezekiel chapter 37 verses 21-22 says, "Say to them, this is what the sovereign Lord says, I will take the Israelites out of the nations where they have gone. I will gather them from all around and bring them back into their own land. I will make them one nation in the land, on the mountains of Israel. There will be one king over all of them, and they will never again be two nations or be divided into two kingdoms."